Oh hey, I didn't see you there. What's up guys, Colin the Big Yosh here, and today we're going to be talking about Captain America, the first Avenger. So, I actually don't have my disc here for once, I kind of forgot about it. So yeah, we'll just ignore that. So yeah, let's just get into this, I guess. So this movie came out in 2011, I believe, and it's actually sort of a divisive entry. And a lot of people think that it's kind of... A lot of people think that the action is not that great, the story's not that great, but Steve Rogers' origin story is good. Now, I guess let's just see what I think of it. So, I think the thing that I really love about this movie, is his origin story. Like, they do a great job, and like making a believable character. Steve Rogers is a really compelling and inspiring person, and it's just a really great story to watch. Like, you would definitely believe that this little skinny guy he gets a second chance at getting what he wants, to join the army, and he gains superpowers, so I guess you couldn't really believe that, but you know what I mean. This movie introduces a lot of new characters because it takes place in the 1940s during World War II. It introduces Steve, obviously, his friend Bucky, Agent Carter, and also Hydra. We'll talk about Steve first, obviously. He's just, again, a really inspiring character, and he is just, and his story is just really, it's really captivating. And no, I did not mean to do that pun. It's a really captivating story because he wants Agent Carter to be his girlfriend, and he finally found the perfect partner. And she loves him as well, but he has to sacrifice himself for the greater good and fly his ship into the ice. So it's very sad. It's kind of heartbreaking. And I'll talk some more about his story and those certain scenes that make you just be like, hits me right there, you know? So, let's talk about Bucky. Yeah. Bucky is a great companion to Steve because he's just, I don't know why he's great. He just is. He's just a great companion to Steve. Like, you'd believe that these two are friends, and I just like that about him. So, yeah, he's good. And it's also sad because he ends up dying later in the film. Or maybe not dying. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Yeah, but he ends up dying, and that's kind of sad, you know. And Agent Carter is a pretty great love interest because she seems at first like she's this tough woman and independent and stuff like that, but then later she ends up liking Steve because of his winning personality and stuff like that. Her scene with Steve is really great as well because they have this scene later that's just heartbreaking where right as soon as Steve's about to sacrifice himself by flying his ship into the ice, they have this great little moment where they talk and they say, alright, so they're basically like, okay, let's make a date. I like you, let's date, okay? And then they start arranging this date and he's like, you got it. But obviously they're not gonna get a date. And it's just sad because then they have this really great scene later where Captain America wakes up in modern times after being frozen in the ice for like 70 years. And it is just a really powerful line where he says, Nick Fury says, "Are you going to be okay?" And he says, "Yeah, but I had a date." And then that's the end of the movie, and it's just, that's a really great way to end a movie. Unfortunately, the credits go into like this happy music after that, but I mean, whatever. I guess we could talk about Hydra and Red Skull and Arnim Zola now. I didn't really love the Hydra scenes. I don't know, like, it just took too much away from Captain America's origin story, I think. His origin story is fantastic, and it was just, then these Hydra scenes keep coming in where they're not doing anything, they're just talking and being like, "Whoa, we have the Tesseract, let's make weapons." And it's, I don't know, they're just not that good in my opinion. And Red Skull, just, I don't think he's the greatest villain. He doesn't have any real motivations. Like, his motivations were like, he wants to be a god. And that's it. Like, he just wants to be a god. So, I don't know. And Arnim Zola, I can't even say anything about him, he's just there. And there are a couple other things about, like, his origin story that I just really love. Like, how he's frustrated that he can't make a real difference because he has to just be a mascot for war bonds. That's really great. It's really emotional when Bucky dies, obviously, because that was his closest friend. Obviously his self-sacrifice, you know. And also Hydra, I guess I'll just talk about a few more random things. Hydra is a pretty great concept. Like, obviously they, like I said before, they weren't like the greatest in this movie, but in the later movies they're actually pretty great. So we'll talk about that later, obviously. There's some stuff that I really like about this movie where there are a bunch of connections to other MCU movies. Like, there's some connections to Thor, where they talk about how the Tesseract is from Odin's treasure room. And that was pretty cool. There's some connections to Iron Man 2, because Howard Stark is actually in it, and he's actually pretty important, which is, it's kind of weird, but it's cool. And I guess, like, this last thing, I really like the score in this movie. It's pretty good. And some of the CGI is, like, really good. Like, the effects to make him look skinny, I think they are pretty good, actually. Like, I wasn't crazy about them at first. Like, they don't look great when he has his shirt off, but when he has it on, they look pretty good. So, I don't know. I liked it. And overall, this was a really good movie. I think that I just I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I didn't feel like that was a lot to say about it, but it's not because I didn't like it or anything. It's just because, I don't know, I feel like the movie didn't have a ton to it. It was just, it's kind of like back then, actually, where it kind of relates to, like, you know, Captain America, where he sees his enemies as black and white people, until, like, later when he wakes up in modern times and he realizes that the world isn't so black and white. But we'll talk about that another time. And that'll pretty much wrap up my review. And tomorrow we're going to take all these franchises that we've talked about, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Captain America, and we're going to put them all into one movie review. The Avengers. Is that cool? I don't know. Yeah. We're going to talk about the Avengers tomorrow, so that'll be really exciting. I'm excited to put that out. So yeah. Bye, guys.